I remember I sent bro FLPs. It's like old melodies, 2017 melodies, and then you got the new sauce on there, and people are like, "Oh man, that's like old Future. This shit hard."
Focused, you know what I'm saying? Like lyrics first. When you're skilled at your craft, yeah, I'm gonna appreciate that, regardless of what. You know, image is just image.
If I could just give out one general piece of advice for lo-fi: pose with frequency in mind, texture matters, and groove matters.
A gym for producers, bro. Don't fucking stop practicing your melody. They may fucking suck right now. It happens. We all sucked at one point, but just keep practicing.
Do not give up. Like, don't matter how nothing bad gets, bro. If you feel like this is what you want to do, bro, and you feel like this is what's gonna take you to the level of you just being happy, not even just happy, but just like happy financially, bro. Stick to this, bro. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different.
Check, 1, 2. What's up with y'all? You already know it's your boy 215 Got Beats, aka Streets, aka you already know this. I'm sorry. You know, we all slip up every now and then, but we don't do resets of producers' new favorite podcast, Let Me Rap With You. I'm going to say, I'm not even going to get upset, man. It's all love today. Because today is Valentine's Day. And you know we love our fans. So we had to pull this holiday episode for y'all. As much as y'all love us, as much as we love y'all, we had to do this. And not only love for our fans, but of course, we got love for our sponsors too. Because you already know this podcast is sponsored by Demolier. You know, thank you, Drippin'. You ain't drippin' until you come shop with us. You know, make sure you go shop at Demolier. Get at my guy, Smash215 at Demolier Shop. That's DEMOLIR Shop. No underscore, no none of that. On Instagram, you already know. Website in the link in bio. You feel me? I done said this a million times. Y'all should know. And of course, you know, this podcast is sponsored by one of the most loved sound kit stores in the game right now, Major Loops. You know, looking for some placement-worthy samples. 808s, kits, claps, snares, hi-hats, open hats, closed hats, percussions, times, you name it. Omnisphere banks, freaking MIDI kits, construction kits, you name it. Shout out my guy, Roy Lux. All love to you, bro. Thank you for everything you've done. MajorLoops.com. Great kits, great prices. You're going to love them. And, of course, this podcast is sponsored by No Rival Shop. You know, make sure you give my guy the mine. You know, NoRivalShop.com. You know, great collections in there. The art collection, the Burning Piece collection, the Wolves collection, the Luxury collection. We can keep going. Definitely shout out to you, bro. The podcast would not be here without you. You know, especially everything we've done because, as y'all know, we have the Let Me Rap With You merch out now. You know, if you click on our link tree, our main website where we usually have everything, you know, you go on our link tree, the official merch tab is right at the top. You know, so make sure you go cop some merch. We got some tees, joggers, lighters, rolling trays. We will be having more colors and stuff coming in soon, but you know, as I said, you know, we want to start off simple. You feel me? So, yeah, Valentine's Day, hell of a holiday. Sometimes new love is made. Sometimes current love is. Valentine's Day is, you know. I say one thing. As much as I love this podcast, you know, I know y'all remember Donnie from the DJ 10 episode. Ooh, he's going to hate me for this. I tell you, he is going to hate me for this episode. Because we will actually be interviewing one of my favorite lo-fi artists who I actually work with. And I know how much Donnie loves his lo-fi. So he will definitely be upset that he will not be attending this episode. But that is what it is. It's kind of what you get, you know. Locking my ass up in the closet. Sure. Could have just asked me. But, you know, what's going on with y'all, man? Loved ones out there? Crushes? You know, college crushes, high school crushes? You know, yours truly, I done could tell you a story or two, but, you know, this isn't what that podcast is for. Y'all gonna have to get me on an actual podcast that talks about that stuff to really talk about that stuff. But if it's one thing that I will definitely say is that the podcast definitely wouldn't be here without the missus, because like when we was thinking about like everything, you know, when I told her that I wanted to do the podcast and, you know, like what we had started with it, you know, we got the camera, how y'all seeing me now, and then, you know, just the ring light and a couple of things that, you know, she got me, which, you know, podcast wouldn't have some of the looks that it has if it wasn't for her. So, you know, I definitely have to, you know, thank her. You know, definitely, you know, love her. Wouldn't be here without the missus. You know, she's always, you know, supporting anything I do, especially the podcast. Before the sponsors and all this stuff came about and all that shit. So, it's just, you know, honestly, I can say I'm just grateful. And, you know, I can definitely say it's a lot of producers, you know, definitely a lot of creatives. You know, I definitely see they got their ones behind them supporting what they do. And that's lit. That's lit. And I say like this, they don't even got to be a girlfriend or boyfriend or wife or whatever. Because I've had females, you know, no label on it. Even some I just been friends with, you know, always had love and showed support of what I do. So, you know, it works differently. Like, love and support works in all factors, not even just in relationships, you know, friends, homies, this, that, and the third. And, you know, we just need more of that. That's why I kind of wore one of my favorite Demolier hoodies for the day. You know, it says, "Why don't you love me?" You know? So why don't you? Universe, you know, we should love each other. You know. And I ain't no different. Shit, I ain't perfect. But, you know. But other than that, man, like I said, I know Donnie, he is going to be upset. Because this is going to be, you know, a lo-fi episode. But Donnie has to understand, I got my love for lo-fi too. And whew. My bad, I had to pause for a second. You know. This L is stuffed. Like, this has to at least be 2.5, 2.7, maybe 3. I can't tell. I don't weigh my blunts when I roll them. I just roll them. But this one is stuffed. Like, damn, it's just crazy. But, you know, besides the holidays, you know, Valentine's Day doesn't just work in relationships. You know, love, you know, whether it's your family, you know, your mom, your brother, your sister, your father, grandmama, grandpapa, uncle, auntie. Everybody has different influences of people they love in their life. No matter how the circumstances are about. You know. That's why Valentine's Day is my favorite holiday. Because, you know, love, that's what I think things should be about. Also a standard of respect. Yes, I do, you know, respect that as well. Especially me being, you know, the producer and the person I am. I am a person of a standard of respect as well, but, you know, standards of respect and love, that balance does exist. And, you know, like, it's how much, like, I got this tattoo. I don't know if the camera's gonna, like, really catch it and all that, but says love since 1993. And, you know, that's just... 93 was the year I was born. And, you know... What more can I say? So... freaking chord just fell out. So... Alright. About to send this Zoom call link. We are rolled heavy. You know, definitely had to roll 2 today. You feel me? Valentine's Day is meant for 2, so I think, you know, we needed a Mr. and a Mrs. for today, which we usually have most episodes, but y'all know. But woo. There's love on the gas right here. Up, she just came in. Here we go. Let's get this call connected in. Oh crap. Shit. Perfect. My audio's connected. Yours connected.
There we go.
There we go. You know what's crazy? As soon as you hit the call, I literally like almost dropped the blunt like on myself, like, and almost put myself on fire. Oh God. But
That's not good.
oh wow. Let Me Rap With You podcast. We got a very special guest in the building, and honestly, I think so many fans are gonna love this one because not only has she been making noise as a producer and as one of the hottest female producers coming up in the game, but she has also been making noise in the lo-fi world, all over, from playlists to her own singles to compilation albums. We got special guests, Berlin's own Lost.mindd in the building. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. It, like, honestly, as long as we've known each other and as much work as we've seen like each other do, it's an honor having you on the podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me here. This is actually my first podcast, so I'm excited.
As much as you've been doing, and I usually say this to all the guests that say that, like, I'd be surprised. But
Yeah.
hey, I'll say it like this. I'll take that in for it. But not to waste no time, because I know the fans, they want to know so much. Like, I'm pretty sure they want to know the beginning of where Lost.mindd even came from.
Of course, yeah. So Lost.mindd is just it's just a weird name that I came up with. It actually started kind of when I was younger because I've always been doing music. But then, of course, university came and I kind of had to push that aside for a while. But then, then I got into like, I found, I think online on YouTube or something, like how you can make beats at home. And I thought, oh, well, this sounds like something I can do because, well, I'm studying, I'm mostly at home. So yeah. But then I thought like, what can I do? So I started actually doing some sort of like lo-fi beats, just the worst beats ever, probably. But
Wow.
yeah. But then I came up with like, I need a good name. I can't just be Julia when making beats like that. So yeah, it just randomly came up with Lost.mindd. And that's how it started, basically. Yeah.
Wow. Like, just coming up with a spontaneous name. That's most artists, they spend so much time coming up with a name. Like, I spent so much time trying to come up with a name. Like, it's good to like just have a spontaneous name and just run with it. But speaking of music and like all that, what were some of the musical influences that you grew up to even before you knew that you wanted to do music?
Oh, I've always kind of listened to a lot of rock, sort of punk music. So that's kind of what I grew up with listening to. And also played in a lot of like rock bands and cover bands when I was younger. So kind of always knew I wanted to do music. Basically.
What instruments did you play in rock bands?
I play the drums and then the guitars.
I was gonna guess guitar first because I definitely be seeing you play the guitar.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun that I can kind of incorporate that now as well, like playing the guitar.
You know, especially because a lot of people don't understand that lo-fi music, it's like live guitar is one of the like big factors that play in a lot of like mellow lo-fi music. And it's like, it's not digital. It's actually like live guitar that actually plays in those songs.
Yeah, the live guitars make such a difference. Like you can hear instantly when it's a VST or something. Like I love the sound of live guitars.
But speaking of, you know, getting into the music world, because knowing that you've always wanted to do music, you've done more than, you know, as I've said, you've done more than lo-fi because you've flowed through the dark trap world, you flowed through the grime world. Like what was it like just flowing through all these genres before, like, you know, this whole lo-fi buzz started hitting?
Yeah, I think it was fun. I wanted to try out everything basically. And I have had a lot of fun doing it for sure. I met some amazing artists and producers along the way. So yeah, it's been a crazy 2 years since I started this whole Lost Mind stuff.
Yeah, because one person who can definitely speak for that is Kenny Cadence. Definitely shout out to him. What is the, you know, because he even told me about, you know, the work that y'all had, you know, a year back. And, you know, what was the relationship with y'all? Like, you know, how did that whole thing started? Because it went from a single, then it went from you executive producing his first album, and then now, not only did you become a part of his coalition Cadenceville, but you're also the executive producer of his sequel. So how did this whole thing like even happen?
Yeah, it was kind of a random thing. Basically, I think we found each other on Twitter about a year ago, and he kind of slid into my DMs and asked if we wanted to work on something together. So that's how it all started. And then when we started doing the first EP we did together, Karmic Debt, we instantly just had that connection. You know, we knew we were going to make more music together, like right from the start. But it just started with me sending him some free beats to work with, basically.
And that wound up becoming a whole damn album.
Exactly. And now we're working on the sequel as well. And that has been almost like a surreal experience for me. And it's just, I can't wait for everyone to hear it because it's so good, in my opinion. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to say, because the production on the first one was astounding. Not only because I have to give Kenny his credit as well. His art, of course. Yeah. His art, a lot of people aren't as passionate, you know, with the art of like just creating music like he is. I have to give him that credit. I can definitely hear it, not just within the production that he chooses, but within the music himself. I have to give him that credit. And after him, like, you just started flowing with all these people, going from A Felon, Trill Bass. Like, what was it like just like working with all these creatives, and what were some of the favorite songs that you like produced with some of them?
I think it was such a different experience with everyone. And I absolutely love when I got to the point when artists started hitting me up to work with me. That was just an experience like none other, I think, because it felt like, yeah, maybe someone knows who I am and wants to work with me. So that was great. And just working with so many different artists and so many different genres. And yeah, I love every track, I think. But yeah, I have a few favorites, of course. Everything I do with Kenny is just, yeah.
One of my favorites, and I actually just started working with him myself, Dropout Monroe. Definitely on experimental programming. Like, that was, because when it's crazy, like, you know, me and Dropout, we have a great chemistry. That's my guy. That's my brother. You know, definitely shouts outs to him. And, you know, when he was working on experimental programming, like, the project spoke for itself. Like, I know he wanted to try new things, and, you know, coming out with 2 songs on that project out of I think it was maybe 7 or 8 to 9 songs, just having 2 songs on that project, and they both just brought out like, how can I say this? Dropout's art, like you really have to be a fan of him to understand his art, because like he brings dark trap and grime to like a different level, and he brings it to like a different bounce.
Absolutely.
And no matter who he chooses for production, it just comes out crazy every time.
Yeah. It's actually weird because I was kind of a fan of his before we even started working together. I found his music on SoundCloud and I instantly like, oh, I need to work with him. Because it's just so different. That is
exactly how I felt after experimental programming, because my in-house Barber Beats, he produced "Make Me Feel," if I think that's the correct song. I would have to look back in my playlist. I'll look it up later during the episode. But you know, my guy Barber, I think he had 2 songs in the project as well, and that's what really made me start becoming a fan. Once I find out you're working with my in-house or you're working with people that I'm cool with, it's like, okay, I'm definitely going to start tuning in. And actually, another person I started tuning in, and you actually got a couple of tracks with him, Lil Melli.
Oh yeah.
I've
been fortunate to work with him. Yeah.
Yes, I definitely, even with his newest single, what it's about, that's definitely one of his hottest songs out right now. You know, what was the pleasure of working with him?
I think the first time it was more like, let's try it out and see how it goes. And then of course it went well, so we just kept working together. And I mean, his work ethic is like none other, and it's just so. I get so inspired working with him because he constantly releases stuff. Like he produces his own stuff. It's still like, as an artist, he wants other people to produce for him, and that's just And the last track he dropped is just so good.
Shit. As soon as you posted it in your stories, I went and heard it. I said, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I think he's really good.
Definitely expect more work from y'all.
Yeah, we actually have a few more songs in the works, so hopefully those will be released soon as well.
So before we actually get into, you know, my favorite part of this interview and where it's going to go, because a lot of people actually don't know, aside from the chemistry that we've always had, just, you know, showing love off of music, you know, production, working together, you know, a lot of people don't know that you're actually a part of, you know, one of the best coalitions in the world, Major Loops. You know,
exactly.
How did that come about, and how did you and Rory even, you know, come about even joining, you know, the whole thing?
Yeah, I think we linked on Twitter as well about a year ago. I think I saw one of his posts when he was like looking for producers to sign to major label. Like, I think that's how it happened. And then I sent some loops, and he accepted me, so I was happy.
I'm going to say, if you sent them loops, I already knew that was going to happen then.
Yeah, but honestly, like at that time, like, my loops were not as good as they are now. Like, being a part of Major Loops has definitely pushed me to get even better. Like, there are so many good producers a part of Major Loops, and we just push each other to do better and better each time, I feel like.
One specific relationship that I would like to talk about, because y'all both actually do lo-fi and y'all both are actually a part of Major Loops, you know, G Smooth, I noticed that every time you two come together or y'all talk in the group chat or y'all start working on something, it always comes out like lit. So it's like, like, honestly, I'm just sitting here like, how come we haven't had a Lost Mind G Smooth lo-fi project yet? Like,
oh, I don't know yet. Yeah, that is definitely something to think about.
I will be talking about that in the group chat as soon as we get off of here.
Yeah, that sounds good. No, but honestly, we also like click instantly. Like, everything we do together is just fun, and it turns out good. So keep doing it.
I definitely need to see more work from y'all, because, you know, I was interviewing him in season 2, and we was talking about like lo-fi and everything, and like, you know, I can definitely see his passion with it. And, you know, actually speaking of lo-fi, because we had actually talked about it like during the time you were doing it and right before you had started. You had told me specifically, you said, I'm going to try doing some lo-fi tracks for like a month, see how it goes. That month winded up becoming 2 months, and then 2 months just winded up becoming 4 months, and then now it's like I think now it's like going on like 6 months, and it's like, so it was like after that first month of just like dropping like your first 2 to 3 lo-fi songs, like what were the reactions and what made you want to keep going?
I think the funniest reaction I got to it was one of the artists that I'm working with, Weaker Reds. He didn't understand that it was instrumentals. So he was like listening to all the songs, kind of expecting some vocals on it. And that was just the funniest part of it. But other than that, I think I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from my lo-fi. And that's kind of why 1 month turned into like 6 months all of a sudden. So,
because honestly, when I listen to like the lo-fi songs now, like even with the collaborators, like you attack lo-fi from all the vibes, whether it's chill, study, cafe, 2 a.m. vibes, like you carry all those vibes when it comes to lo-fi. And once you started seeing the playlists, it started going from 1 playlist, then the 3, then the 4, like, and then I think
it's insane.
Yeah, I think your highest day, I think you had what, like 12 to 13 playlists like add you.
Oh yeah, that was insane. I don't know how that happened, but it's like I think I had 11 playlists, add my songs to them. So yeah, that's absolutely crazy.
What were some of your favorite like lo-fi songs that you had worked with, and a couple of the collaborators you had recently worked with?
I think my favorite is the last lo-fi track that I released called Lazy Days, because that's also the first track that I released through like an indie label. So that is getting some traction from there.
Shout out the Colors in the Dark.
Absolutely.
I just followed them today, actually.
Yeah. The guy who owns the label is amazing, and just the fact that he took a chance like on me. I've been making lo-fi for just a few months, and he was kind enough to invite me to be part of the compilation. So that was amazing.
I think Bedtime Stories has about 25 lo-fi artists, you included. So that's a hell of a bracket to be a part of.
Yeah, and there's also some names on there that kind of are my idols when it comes to lo-fi. Like I kind of aspired to be like them. So just to be a part of an album with them so early on is just amazing, really.
I'm going to say, since all this is going so well for you, do you have any other plans like dropping a lo-fi project, like, you know, yourself, or, you know, getting with other labels for compilations?
Yeah, I'm absolutely looking for other labels as well to be a part of compilations. I have one compilation that I'm on that's going to be released in February. Let's see, I can't remember now. It's too many dates, but yeah. And then at the beginning of March, I'm going to release my own EP, my first lo-fi EP.
It's crazy speaking of that, because like we were talking about, you said you had started a second YouTube channel, and
yeah,
you said you were thinking about like doing cook-ups and doing like breakdowns. Now, I'm not going to say this is the route to go. Breakdowns is definitely one thing, because you're building a catalog to where I think people want to know definitely how some of those songs came about. So I think breakdowns are definitely one aspect. But also I think another aspect is also doing like live stream, like lo-fi, like when you're cooking up a lo-fi song, because you're gaining so many playlists and so many listeners. I think they would probably like to see how that process is.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea, because I need some ideas, kind of what people want to see from me. And it's hard to know kind of like what they want to see, but that is actually a good idea.
Yeah, honestly, because like that's what I was thinking about. Because what I'm about to do with my YouTube is take all my beats off, and either if I want to upload beats again, I'll probably start another channel, or but I really just want to start like live streaming, even if it's
Yeah.
just like making a beat then and there. I just want to start like live streaming and stuff just to show people how it really works.
Exactly. I think a lot of people are interested in the process, like
I think
especially in melodies, like samples. I've had a lot of questions about how do you make your samples and melodies sound a certain way and stuff like that. So yeah.
well, actually, and this is actually an off-topic question. I actually wanted to get into this because I had a discussion with my friend earlier. You actually put me on to this. I actually want not only for just producers, but I also want artists to know the what is it? The great tools for tunes.io, because you had definitely put me onto it, and I'm actually about to use the trial version to start like submitting and stuff. But I want you to actually start talking about like some of the great tools that they have for artists and producers to start putting themselves out more.
Yeah, so Fortunes especially is such a great tool. And I think, I don't know how I found out about it, but it's just one of those, once you find it, you're like, how did I like live without this almost? But it tells you all the playlists you've been added to. It gives you the resources to kind of, once you release a track, to find playlists to pitch it to. So it gives you all the insights. I think there's a lot more resources like that artists needs to be aware of, that they need to take advantage of. I see a lot of people not taking like the promotion or marketing seriously. Like they release a track and then they don't know kind of what to do almost. So yeah.
That's why I held back on dropping my album, because I wanted to learn everything first.
Yeah. I think it's really important to have some sort of plan or strategy for once it's released. Like, what do I do now? Like, how do I get people to hear this? Because it's good music, so.
Well, yeah, exactly. And not only that, once you start finding a playlist that puts you out, you can actually possibly, work something out with them. Like people never know how that works.
Exactly.
So,
and I would have never been aware of all the playlists that I've been added to if it wasn't like for tunes example. Yeah.
And speaking of that, like playlists getting added to and being in compilations, because you had mentioned it earlier. You said you were on the Bedtime Story compilations with some of your idols. Can you actually name some of them?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, Project Air is one of them. Like, I remember, like, I think it was like a year ago, I was still studying. I was still in university. So I was kind of listening to some compilations that he was on. So yeah, kind of came full circle there. Definitely. And he's such a like nice guy as well. We kind of talked a little bit like now being on this compilation together. So yeah, that's amazing.
I'm Gary. So it's great to actually be a part of something, like from listening to it and then being a part of it. Like it's great to be a part of that. Like it's like you said, it worked full circle, because it's like you go from a time where you had to take a break from music to going back to music and then being a part of what you were listening to.
Yeah, that's crazy to me actually, but yeah, it's so fun.
But what are some lo-fi gems? Because what people need to understand is that lo-fi works so many different ways, not even just with creating lo-fi, but also with genres, because people try to, they try to name certain things with lo-fi, but, they misconstrue the genres, because we have chill, we have vaporwave, we have lush, we have so many, like, we have jazz, we have fusion. So,
there's so many subgenres.
So, like, what are some of the gems that you would give not only a lo-fi artist, but also like, producers who are getting into lo-fi?
I think the first thing I would say is just make sure that you kind of love the music that you're making, because lo-fi is so much emotion in it. I feel like there's so much emotion. You need to kind of, what you're feeling, you need to kind of parade like through your music. So if you don't like doing lo-fi and just getting into it, because I mean, a lot of other producers are getting into it now, so that's not a reason to start making lo-fi. Yeah, because you need to be able to give them the, you know, the feel of sitting at a cafe or something, the 2 a.m. feels.
What I learned, what I'm gonna do with my lo-fi, because I realized actually that I had a love for lo-fi before I even knew it. Because, and shout out to these guys, I know I ain't talked to them in so long, and I'm probably gonna try to like find them again and try to find it. I actually interviewed them before they blew up and before they left El Paso, Texas. Shout out my guys Immune and Always Proper. They were one of the first lo-fi groups that I ever got into before I even knew that I was a lo-fi lover, and they were doing lo-fi before it was even cool to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, actually, when I interviewed them, Immune wasn't even going by that name during that time, actually. Like I said, like everybody go through that name change, but it was just so great to, you know, when I think back of my roots, think back of, you know, the music that I come to love, that I sat there like, I actually interviewed a lo-fi group before their time.
Yeah.
Like, because I had a blog back in the day. I had a blog and I was trying to learn how to like do interviews and stuff. I didn't know how to do them back then. And then like, you know, they were the first guys that I ever did. And they did a mix for me and everything. Like, I wish we still had it. Like, it's crazy. They did a lo-fi mix for me and everything for the blog. It was so crazy.
Amazing. Yeah.
So like, I know my love for lo-fi is like, for me, it has to be natural. And like the songs that I do, it has to be based on like, you know, life for me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's like I said, a lot of emotion goes into making lo-fi. You have to feel it almost.
I think that's why City is one of my favorite songs from you.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because like my area is like urban.
Yeah.
So it kind of fits, like, it kind of fits my vibe wherever I go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you said, it has to have life to it.
Exactly. And that's also kind of what's amazing with lo-fi is once you sort of hear a lo-fi track, you instantly kind of see a place almost, like, you know, what the producer had in mind when they made the beat almost.
I'm going to say, actually, speaking of lo-fi, what are some of the future lo-fi artists that you plan on working with?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, really. I'm actually,
that's a big one.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to find a few more to work with. I'm kind of focusing on my own releases now, just trying to find labels to work with. Yeah.
What was it like working with Stux? Because
that was like, also an experience. Yeah.
Like I said, lo-fi pioneer, like for a long time. What was it like just collaborating with him?
Yeah, that was also like, I think it just happened naturally because I think one of my tracks got added to his playlist. And then we started talking from there, and I kind of suggested that maybe we should do something together. And then I didn't realize kind of who he was and what his music was. So that was, that was amazing. But it was a great collaboration, and the track is so good, I think.
Is that what led to you collaborating with North Sky after that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I figured that's how that came about.
Exactly, yeah. I think they worked together on something before, yeah.
But
I need to find some more people to work with, definitely.
I remember, I think you had posted this the other day. I think somebody was asking, like, you know, what digital audio workstations everybody used. And a couple people had mentioned Ableton. And if I remember, you're actually a user of Ableton.
Yeah.
So, like, most people know me. I'm a FL Studio / Akai user. But I understand the benefits of Ableton because, like, I studied there German engineering since, I'm going to say 8. I've been studying them since 8.
Mm.
And their innovation through each Ableton series, it's just unbelievable. And I feel like for somebody who actually knows Ableton, I feel like you should give some of the gems of why people should, use Ableton as well.
Yeah, I think that's easy now. But I just love Ableton because it kind of lets me be creative almost. It's so easy to record like my guitars and whenever I want to record something. And then it has kind of two windows almost that you can work with. You have something you can record your ideas over, then you can move to the other window and then kind of structure your beats. And it comes with so much like free sounds, like a lot of free sounds and instruments. So that's why I kind of went for it in the beginning. And now I can't switch to another DAW for sure.
Speaking of instruments, are we going to be seeing more guitar type beats from you, especially with the guitar you got?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be so much guitar beats that people are going to get sick of it, I think.
I won't. Guitar type beats never die for me.
No, I think that's something that's always going to be kind of in style, like guitar beats. I don't know.
So one thing that I almost forgot to mention, when you started making a name for yourself, you started doing giveaways and you started doing contests with sample packs. Yeah. What was the process of that, and like, how did it work so well for you? Because I noticed everybody's reaction and everybody started actually getting into it.
I think the first contest I did was for artists. So I gave away a free beat and then you could spit a few bars on it. And then whoever, I can't remember what the price was back then, but it kind of created a hype around it. I started I didn't do any promotion for it. It was just using hashtags on Instagram and then kind of making sure people retweeted it on Twitter. But then I started doing giveaways and contests for producers. And then I started going live, kind of hosting the contest and deciding on a winner. And I got a lot of positive feedback on that. So I kind of kept doing it. And that's just me kind of wanting to give back as well, because I know a lot of people can't afford a whole studio and stuff like that. So if I can do some sort of contest and give away some gear or some money, then yeah, of course.
I'm gonna say. And
I met a lot of great producers as well through those contests that I ended up working with.
I'm gonna say, what were some of your favorite contestants that won the contest?
Oh yeah, I had one of them is definitely, I think it's pronounced like Firebeats, and he just did something completely different than all the other contestants, and that's why I remember him so much, because he just, I don't know why, it was just completely different. And then also Sunbeats, I'm working with him a lot. I think he joined the contest early on, and that's kind of how we got connected.
So when Lost Mind isn't in the studio, going crazy and dropping lit singles and working with crazy artists, what are some of your favorite, lo-fi songs to listen to, outside of yourself, whether it's Spotify or SoundCloud or YouTube live streaming?
I would actually go to YouTube, and then I go to my recommendations and then go on a random live stream of lo-fi. Because I hate picking out songs. I just want to pick something random.
Me specifically, I mean, I'm a Ryan Celsius fan, but my cat likes Chill Cow. So if I put Chill Cow on, my cat is gonna
That's amazing.
So it's kind of I'm a Ryan Celsius fan, but because and I actually just got done interviewing one of his artists, DJ Tent. Definitely shout out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely killing the vaporwave vibes in Canada right now, and it's just so, like, I prefer YouTube live streams because, like you said, I hate picking out songs.
Exactly.
Like, I literally have like a Spotify playlist for like all the lo-fi songs I like. So, I hate picking out songs. I'll just live stream and just like put it on the 75-inch and just let like the visuals play.
Yeah. I think you find a lot of new producers as well doing that. Like you find a lot of new artists just putting on some random live stream or a random playlist. That's always great as well.
For sure. And one last question I'm going to ask before my favorite final question is, for the lo-fi producers who are making a way right now, what is one suggestion you would give them when it comes to releasing their content?
I would say just release it. I think a lot of people are kind of afraid to release stuff. They hold on to it too long. So just release it. Because I know I had like I said, I started out doing lo-fi a few years ago and then kind of took a break, tried some different stuff, and then came back to it. And I never released my lo-fi music before. But now it's like, okay, now I have to release it and try. So that's definitely something that I've learned. Just try it. Like, if it's good, people are going to vibe with it, I think.
That's how I felt, because I definitely had a few. I sent my old ones to my artist the other day. He said, bro, how come you never released these? I said, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I think we get in our heads too much sometimes, like as producers.
Unintended, I guess we get lost in our mind, you feel me?
Exactly, yeah.
So, like I said, that's why I feel like, and we was talking about it like a couple weeks ago. That's why I feel like you have like a really great lit name, because like it's something that we can relate to before we even listen to the music.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why it's worked out so good. Otherwise, I probably would have changed my name like a few times by now.
Yeah, I'm good. I probably did like 8 times already.
Yeah. But I could like still question my name like all the time. I don't know why that is as well. That's all about like getting inside your own head as well.
But the one last question that I always ask, for the podcast, and I always just say it in hypothetical theory because you never know what happens for people. But let's say, for example, a podcast fan was chilling with you right now in the studio and they were about to walk out, and you can give them one final gem for them to walk out with their career. What would you tell them?
That's a hard one. Like, but I think also something that people don't understand when like starting out, at least, is that it doesn't matter kind of how good you are at something. It has to be passion as well. Like you have to be driven. So you kind of have to almost make room for music. You have to sort of make plans to sit down and make music. And that's hard when like starting out, you kind of want to do it because it's fun, but also you kind of have to have that drive to be able to do it as well. Because it doesn't matter how talented you are, basically. If you don't put the work in, then...
I do. Putting the work in is one thing, but one thing I value about myself, if I don't have fun doing it, I won't put it out. I expect, this is weird. Like, I don't know if this is weird. I expect the same energy from my fans, the same energy I give something that I put out. Because I think, what's his name? Hit Boy said it. And he has said, if I'm not a fan of it or I'm not feeling it, how can my fans be?
I think that's a good point he's making. I think you have to love what you do as well. Once it becomes like boring or work, just another day, you have to do it, then of course it's not going to be fun and you're not going to be able to push it that far as well. Like once it's released, you're going to be like, oh, it's done. Okay.
No, I'll take a hiatus before I feel that way.
Yeah. I think that's important as well. Maybe that should be my final advice. Like, if you're feeling beat-plugged or something, just take a break. Like, don't be afraid to take breaks as well. That's important.
I ain't afraid to.
Yeah, me neither. I took a break just over Christmas and New Year's, and that gave me some more like.
I did a little bit around Thanksgiving because I had a couple ideas, and then like Christmas and New Year's, I kind of like took that hiatus.
Yeah, I think that's good as well. So to kind of just take a step back and I started planning a lot of what I wanted to do this year. Then
I wrote down ideas, even if I don't go through it all of them, I still just like wrote stuff down that like, you know what, I like that in my head. I'm gonna just write it down, even if
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I'm definitely glad we got that part out the way before we actually walked out, because it's been a couple of producers who actually said that in the last couple of episodes, and I'm glad that they're showing the importance of just sometimes just you gotta take a break before getting back into it.
Yeah, I think it's also with social media kind of makes us feel that we should be doing it like 1,000% every day, all the time. Like, it doesn't work like that. You can make like 20 beats a day, of course, but also, are they going to be good? Are you going to love them? Probably not then.
If 12 of those ain't hits, I'm not making 20 a day.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like I'm making 20 a day. I need to walk out with hits every day.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, that's my thing. I need to walk out with hits every day. If I'm making 20 beats a day and I have a good game plan and I have good marketing, I need to either be walking out with hits or at least money, one or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it was great having you, for the podcast. And I'm definitely glad, you dropped the gems that you dropped, not only with just like lo-fi, but just like with the venture and everything. And it was honestly great just hearing another great story just from another great producer that's out here making their name.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was great.
Of course. That's what the podcast is about. It's just giving a voice out there for people who deserve it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, for real.
And for the people that like you said, like, I'd be so shocked when people tell me like I'm the first person that interviewed them. I'm like, I'm not the only podcast out here. I'm just saying, like, that's why I just said, like, I'm not the only podcast out here. If I was, then I understand, but I'm not.
Yeah, no, I don't know why that is, but I think you find a lot of, like, I'm not speaking just for myself, but like the guests you've had on your podcast, I think you find the ones that haven't quite, like, they have created a buzz around them but they haven't like blown up yet. So I think I think you have like an eye for spotting those individuals.
It's crazy. A great friend of mine, Sunny, she had just did an interview on the podcast for season 3. She said I was like Narwhal. I'm like Narwhal. I'm like, okay. And it's funny because like I spent my whole life watching Narwhal interview people. So, but
yeah, that's funny.
I'm pretty sure everybody already know how we're going to leave out here, because it's everybody's producer's new favorite podcast. It's your boy 215 Got Beats, aka Streets, aka you already know this. Lost Mind, and of course, a fellow Major Loops representative in the building. And if anybody's doing lo-fi or has a lo-fi playlist, I suggest you start adding her before she blows. Because I need that 12 to 13 playlist to turn to like 20 to 30 like a week.
Absolutely. That would be great.
I'm going to say, but definitely let me know when you do the lo-fi album. I definitely might want to be a part of that. And I'm definitely going to tell G to be a part of it.
Absolutely. That would be so fun to do with both of you. Like, have a little Major Loops lo-fi release. That would be awesome.
I'm going to say Josh might like that. Josh might like that too, because Josh has some great lo-fi projects that I actually heard on his Spotify.
Yeah, I haven't heard those yet. I'm gonna have to check those out. Yeah.
Yes, I'm definitely need to check those out. Definitely. But I'm going to let you, get back to what you were doing because I know you got a lot going on, and I'm pretty sure you're working on Cadenceville too. So
yeah, I am right now. So yeah,
I'm great. How many songs we got left actually?
On the project for Cadence, yeah, we actually finished it. So I'm just waiting for release.
We cannot give no more exclusive information right now. Look, we cannot give no more exclusive. We cannot give no more exclusive information now, folks. I think we just got the scoop of the ice cream right there. We cannot give no more exclusive information. The album is done, people. The album is done. We will definitely be talking about that later on Twitter. But I'm going to say it. I will catch you, sis. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Of course.
Thank you so much. And I will catch you on the flip side, and you be safe out there.
Yeah, you too.
I definitely will.